Your heart rate come down after last night yet?
That was awesome. What a day, what an atmosphere, great win. And it did. I was able to sleep a little bit, but it was an exciting day for sure.
What does it mean to see Carmen take the ball again here as a member of this rotation and the opportunity he's been embracing?
Yeah, embracing. He did a really good job in New York. That game 3, we needed a strong start, and he provided it. And looking forward to him being out there again today.
Have you seen him grow in confidence in that starting role? Obviously, it's just one, but I feel like that start kind of proved some things to him.
Yeah, he wants it. You know, he went after it this offseason, pitched really well in spring, earned that spot, and I think that we talked about last year going down to AAA, the split, the curveball, being able to utilize both, and along with his fastball has been big for him to be able to continue starting and then being able to sustain that through an outing.
Do you want him to have a starter's mindset versus a reliever's mindset? In other words, relievers will go out there and just kind of let it eat. Do you want him to kind of take that same mentality into a starter's role? Because, you got to kind of factor in trying to turn a lineup over multiple times. So I was curious, what kind of mindset do you want from him as a starter?
I think he's got that type of mindset, is just go. There's very few times that I've noticed, at least with Carmen, where he doesn't hold much back. Like, he's going to go and let it eat. The thing for me that he has gotten a lot better at is the pitchability, being able to utilize the split, the curveball, throw it for strikes, use it for chase when he needed to, and then the fastball velo. That's something that has been more sustainable for him as he's continued to stretch out and lengthen out his outings.
What does it mean for the organization to have 5 homegrown guys make up the starting rotation?
That's sick, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's really cool, and I think it speaks to the development, to our, speaking to our guys at the beginning of camp when, we lost Thomas Whitsitt there. It was a hard decision on who to fill the assistant pitching coach role because of the amount of talent we have in our pitching development staff. Think the world of all those guys, and I think it shows here in the big leagues that having homegrown guys that are filling out the rotation, one, to their talent and their work ethic and how they go about it, and 2, to the staff and the development that we have, the ability that they have to develop really good starting pitchers and pitchers in general.
What do you need to do to get Marcell Ozuna on track, and what are you seeing that's hindering him?
Yeah, he's just in between right now, it looks like, and we need to get him rolling. He was here hitting after the game last night. I mean, when you guys see, you got a guy that cares so much and wants to get on track, and after the game last night, he's here working his tail off after the home opener, deep into the night, trying to get right. And I think that he's a veteran. He knows what he needs to do, and I have full confidence that he's going to get rolling here soon.
How has he been in the clubhouse?
Great. Yeah, huge impact on a lot of guys, and I think sometimes that can be I don't know if distracting is the right word. He's doing a lot of that too, and trying to help himself get back on track.
How much do you think he's helped O'Neill so far? In what ways?
Just conversations, finding a way to help O'Neill. I mean, that game in Cincinnati where O'Neill and Brian converged, and O'Neill called him off. Maybe it was a little late, not loud enough. We need to continue to work on that communication piece in the outfield. I think that a big part of O'Neill staying in that game and in that fight was due to, I think, Ozuna, and I think Tony Beasley has been a huge impact for O'Neill too. That's going to be important for not just O'Neill, all of our guys as we go through the season. We're going to make mistakes. How do we stay in it and continue to compete on? And O'Neill came up with 2 huge home runs after that.
When you talk about Ozuna and how he's reacted, I know it's early in the season, so I don't know, as a veteran, as you're saying, he's overreacting too much, but the way that he's handled this, what type of example has he set for when things aren't going well, how you should still handle yourself in the clubhouse and in the dugout and support your team?
Yeah, great. He's a teammate, and he's looking out for other guys, and he's trying to pick other guys up, even though he's not feeling the best himself at the plate. And having played with Marcell, he's going to get it rolling, and it's going to be fun to watch.
You mentioned this a little bit last night after the game, and I'm sorry if you addressed this in the spring, but just how you're going to utilize Santana and Soto, the 8th and the 9th inning, not a closer per se, more matchup, but can you just expound upon that and how you plan to navigate that?
Yeah, last night was matchup based. I know it was left, right, left. If they started getting something going, we had Alexander and Ward that were coming up that were both right-handed after that. so that if they ended up getting something going, we felt really good with Santana against those two guys and felt really confident with Santana against that pocket. And then conversely, if they got something going, whether it was through Santana or Soto in the ninth, we felt really good about Soto against Henderson, which obviously didn't work out the way that we had hoped. Henderson got him. Like Soto against Alonso historically in his career, and then to be able to flip Rutschman around right-handed and have Basayo behind him, felt like that's why we lined that up. And I think as we go through the season, that's the way we're going to be looking at it, is based on the matchups that, both of those guys, Santana's been good against left too, so felt good about him against Beavers and Kowser in their order last night.
How important was Mason yesterday, just coming in those 2 outs late on?
Huge. To come in first and second, I thought Henry had a great challenge on that ball. I mean, that you're talking so close to being a strike. Mason was ready. He was coming in either way, but to come in against, 2 of their top guys and be able to pitch them like he did, especially Rutschman flipping around, and then to get Basayo 2 huge outs from Mason.
Don, you played in MLB debuts as a player, as a manager. Like, how much have they changed in that span? Do you use anything that you experience as a player informing the managerial thing? Just how do you handle that contract? I know there was a little less hype for you.
I was going to say, I can't relate. There's a lot I can relate to. There was not a huge press conference when
you weren't at the podium.
When I got called up, and I was not 19. I was 27, and Dan Hart was still coordinating things. But just the way that Connor handled yesterday was so impressive. From the cameras following him in, from the moment he gets off the out of the car to come in and talk to everybody, and then the press conference, and then all the hype out on the field pregame and everything that goes on, and for him to be able to focus and maintain his edge and composure through that first at bat and drive that pitch to left center field at 106. I mean, I didn't even realize how great of a pitch it was until after the game when I saw the replay. Just that he had a phenomenal day yesterday.
Are there situations you want to start to limit that a little bit and let him just go play baseball too?
Oh, no doubt. And I think that as we go, that'll happen. The rhythm of a day, the rhythm of, yes, there will always be media coverage and interviews and that type of stuff. Hopefully it's not all the same as what it was yesterday, because that was, it could have been overwhelming for some, but not for Connor. He did a great job.
Going back to Dennis, there are a lot of guys who'd be like, hey, I've been here for a couple of years. I had them in my phone for a couple months last year. They wouldn't be willing to do this split time between the 8th and 9th based on matchups. What does that say about him?
Oh, huge. And talking about that even earlier this year, he is such a teammate, wants to win, cares about winning, cares about his teammates, and I think the world of him. We wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for Dennis and what he brings on the field, and also what he brings leadership-wise in the clubhouse and in the bullpen.
Is Soto what you expected, or is he 10 Ks in his first 4 or 5 outings? Is this what you expected out of him, or has he impressed you in a different way?
He's impressed me. I don't know if in a different way. I mean, we certainly don't expect that type of punch-out consistency. He's got the stuff to be able to do it. He's been tremendous, and really impressed with strike throwing and with all of his pitches. He's been able to mix it up, and he does a great job of mixing up the slide step and the leg kick and mixing up pitches within that, which is he's 97, 98, 99 becomes even faster when he slide steps with it.
What's your corner outfield defense returns? You have O'Hearn, first baseman, playing right. Reynolds shifts back over to left. Reynolds was really good defensively in the second half of last year. I'm just curious, spring into the first week, what are you seeing defensively from the corner outfield?
Great. Yeah, they've been, talking about impressing me and stuff, so it certainly has, and O'Hearn and Reynolds both have, as far as their defensive play in the outfield. I thought Reynolds got a lot better last year as we went, especially the second half, and O'Hearn has worked his tail off in spring training to be a really good outfielder, and I think he's doing a great job.
Donnie, the cone thing, that stuff happens all the time now. Teams have their own thing. But like, when your career, what was like the most random item when you were playing that became like a thing in the dugout?
I have no idea. I don't think we had anything. We certainly didn't have anything near what the cone has become.
You had secondhand smoke.
Yes, yeah, we did. That wasn't just in the dugout. That was all over. Yeah, I don't know, but it's fascinating with the cone and what Mangum was able to do with it, with the t-shirts, hoist the cone, and then to be able to direct traffic with it. It's been a lot of fun.
Does it help when you're trying to create an identity with the team when a new guy comes in and sort of does that, right? It's not like, like Kutch last year tried, what do you do with was that last year before with the
fight, yeah.
And there's always been random stuff, but when it's a new guy and you've got a bunch of new pieces, is that important to sort of like, you talk about building chemistry, but it has to be organic.
It does have to be organic, and it's got to be, in my opinion, it has to be player driven. When you start to see the guys come together, and a guy like Mangum that has that type of personality, and the teams, they've run with it. It's been fun to watch, and then it was their idea with the welding hood too, of for home runs. And the thing that was cool yesterday is we're gonna hit home runs, and we're also gonna score more runs by base hits than we are from home runs. So being able to stack those together, and hopefully we get to see a lot of the cone, because that's when you see the guy, I think Cam had the cone in the bullpen holding it up. It was it's cool to see. I don't know if you saw in the building, the girl pointed it out across the river, and I don't know what building it was. There was a cone in the window up there, which is cool to see.
Are those sometimes the sillier they are, the better? Like how absurd some of those things can be, like the Zoltan and all this stuff. Is sometimes the more absurd they are, that makes it more fun for everybody, just because it's
yeah, it may be. I think that it's the guys just buying into it, and something that they can rally around, which is certainly what our guys have done.
Did you have to have the cone explained to you, or were you always?
Oh no, I knew about the shirt.
Okay.
But I had to have the backstory from Mangum explained. It's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.